Welcome to episode 41 of the Tough Draw Talks podcast. I'm your host, Brad Hughes. Appreciate you being along for the ride. Today we are coming to you from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts in Durant, Oklahoma during the Durant Pro Rodeo. They have provided us an amazing location to record these podcasts, and we couldn't be more thankful for their involvement. A world-class resort with 1,700 rooms, 7,400 slots, 100 table games, a new resort pool spanning 3 acres, and a huge entertainment venue that showcases some of the best musicians in the world. Choctaw is definitely the place to be. Before we get started though, as much as we appreciate the hospitality of Choctaw, we want to make sure and give a big thank you to our presenting sponsor this year, the Lane Frost brand. We appreciate everything that they have done for Tough Draw in all of our ventures, including this podcast, by being the presenting sponsor. Be sure and visit lanefrost.com for some amazing hats, shirts, and everything Lane Frost, and to celebrate one of the greatest legacies rodeo and sports in general has ever known. Make sure and use our discount code TDT15 to save on your next order. Our next guest is one you'll want in the dirt with you if you're getting on the back of any bull, or if you're just in the dirt with a bull in general. He is a fan of the podcast, and the feeling is definitely mutual as we've gotten to meet and visit with him here at the Durant Pro Rodeo. This 24-year-old Oklahoma native has been fighting bulls for 7 years. He's a world champion and has his feet in the dirt in the PRCA, PBR, and UBF. Dekevis Jordan. Dekevis, man, how's it going today?
Man, it's going good.
Dude, I appreciate you reaching out to us just to let us know that you're a big fan and stuff, and I thought it was real cool that we were able to make this work with you being up here in Durant. I know you've listened to some of the podcasts, but we're going to do a little bit of a change up on our icebreaker questions since we're here at Choctaw.
Yeah.
So first off, you walk into a casino, where do you head first?
I've gotten to where now I can't play cards, so I've gotten to where now I look at the roulette tables.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Are you do you go black or red, or do you are you the kind that like you get a gut feeling and you go after numbers?
I go after numbers and everything that I can set some dollars on, really.
Man, that's I don't have that. I'm usually, if I do roulette, it's red or black because I like those odds. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I play blackjack myself.
Yeah.
All right. What about superstitions or pre-event rituals? Are you a superstitious guy?
Man, I used to say I wasn't until I got into this business, and I'm a very big superstitious guy,
Oh, yeah?
And there's a funny story behind that as to why. And I kind of broke the loop, but I long story short, I got my whole gear bag stolen. Everything that I normally fought bulls in got stolen, so I had to borrow literally everything from someone else's gear.
Dang.
And I just so happened to put on a great bullfight.
There you go. Yeah.
And then a couple weeks go down the road and I'm working protection and whatnot. Well, I'm getting hooked left and right. And I'm doing my job. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it just seems like I couldn't get in that mode or whatnot. And it was simply because I didn't have none of my stuff. You know? I do everything the same every single time I get in the dirt.
And you didn't even really realize it?
Yeah.
Until you
I
had your
didn't
gear
really
bag on?
notice it until I started looking around like something's different, and I taped my wrist up and all that, and I'm like, this tape doesn't even feel right on my hand, like just things, like I have to feel comfortable with my gear before I can do anything,
100%.
That's a huge deal for me.
100%, man. All right, so you're a fan of the podcast, so I'm gonna put you a little bit on the spot here.
Ooh.
So either your favorite episode or what's the thing you like most about the podcast?
All of them are great. I don't really have a favorite, but the thing I like most about the podcast is that like everything was pretty raw that I've ever really listened to, driving and stuff. Like everything was true, everything was raw. There wasn't no. And the thing is, I haven't finished them all. Yeah. I will start one and I'll get somewhere and I'm like, all right, and I'll see the new one, I'll click it and I'll keep going. Yeah. But everything, it's like I'm sitting there having a conversation too with them. Like cool. Some of the guys that talked, like I can relate to some of the things that they've been through and all that. Yeah. So that's what made me like, okay, this is true rodeo / real life talk.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing some firsts while we're here at Choctaw, so I'm excited. We got our first bareback rider coming in later today with Tilden, and then obviously we're bringing in Lane Johnson here in a little while, which, some interesting ties there to him and rodeo, but obviously an NFL player, So I hope to keep creating those crossovers that make guys like you feel like it's authentic and genuine, so I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the question is about your favorite artist, but you know, if you could see somebody perform at that big Grand Theater downstairs at Choctaw, who would you want to see perform musician wise?
Oh man, that's a good one. I'm just gonna go on a limb here. I listen to all types of music.
Yeah.
You know, there's not one in particular, but and it's gonna sound crazy, but I am a freak for Elvis Presley.
Oh, okay.
If I could sit in there and just watch that man go to work,
Yeah.
I would be up all night. I'd probably be trying to get on the stage with him. Like I'm
cool.
all about it. You know,
Yeah.
at times I think I can sound like him, and you know, there's times where I'll act like him, impersonate him the whole night. You know, it's cool. Just it keeps me happy. You know, like it keeps me in a good mood, and you know, I'm a smiley person if you know me. So
heck yeah,
I'm always goofing off, you know, and watching his movie and listening to his music. It just seems like he's that type of guy. You know.
Yeah. All right. So this question, you know what this question is because you've listened to the podcast. Hopefully you've thought about it, but best compliment you've ever received?
I really want to say I take pride in my cowboy hats.
Yeah.
I really do. I try to take care of them like to a T.
Yeah.
And I want to say that was the best ever compliment I've received because I'm not bragging, but I've received compliments just like any other person. Yeah. But the ones that stand out to me is, you know what, like, I really like your hat. You know, like cool. Your hat looks good, and I take pride in it because, like, I try to do the shape and all that, you know. Yeah. And I take pride in stuff like that. So
that's cool.
It's kind of the lid on my head, I guess you can say. You know.
Well, and as you know, with that question in particular, I like it because you always kind of learn from something from somebody about what, because everybody receives compliments. Yeah. You know. And you kind of find out like what's important and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's cool to hear you say the authenticity and the genuineness, and then you tie it back to something that's so paramount of being a cowboy, right?
And so it's like every rodeo cowboy, like I said, they receive compliments all the time. You know, it's just about some things, and I guarantee you ask every one of them, something stands out. There's always that one thing that stands out that you really look back. Yeah. Take your time to go over and tell that person thank you.
For sure. Know? Well, no, I appreciate you jumping in with me on those. Those are always kind of fun and the little casino twist there.
Yeah.
But let's dive in on just some of the meat of the conversation. How'd you get into bullfighting?
Man, honestly, like I was playing ball, you know, for sure. And then there's a man named Sean Runyon. He had bucking bulls, you know, and I would always he'd come get me, and I was young, man. I was playing Lions Club football, you know, and my upcoming was kind of different, you know, so he'd always come get me, and I'd help him with bulls, sort bulls, and just be around him, you know. And I told him, I said, you know, I'll ride that thing, like, like you want me to get on it? Because, you know, he'd want these guys to come get on, no one show up. Yeah. He was like, no, like, you got something going for you, football. And I said, well, but I love rodeo, you know. I've been working these rodeos and whatnot for a long time, and I'm tired of just stripping and running, you know, untying calves for you. And, you know, can't really remember the age, but I'm young. I'm not driving yet, you know, and all that stuff. And one day we were at a practice pen, and this two boys wanted to come get on, and, you know, Pops was flanking, and I was sitting there pulling gates and doing all that, you know, extra stuff. And I stepped out there one day and slid in a gap, and I grabbed the bull. I touched the bull with my two hands. Yeah. And I slid through the gap, and like it's something about it all felt right. Yeah. And from that point on, it was like I want to learn more about this. Yeah. I want to learn more and more about this. So literally from that point on, it was YouTube phone calls, and he done everything he could to get me around the right people to teach me this sport the correct way. Yeah. And you know, lots of just practice pens is where it started at first. Just going to practice pens, watching videos. Speaking to a lot of mentors coming up, am I doing this right? Am I doing that wrong? Yeah. And then, you know, of course, like I said, I was younger at the time, so I still had to go through middle school at the time. Like I had to worry about that. And, you know, and Nanny, she wasn't a big fan of it to start with, but whenever she realized how much I loved it and actually wanted to pursue being good at it, she got behind us, you know, on the whole deal. So absolutely, that's kind of how it all kicked off for me. So
it's really cool. So something I'm grabbing onto, like, you know, you talked about the authenticity and the rawness of the podcast, and just kind of the genuineness, and then talk about your hat, and you talk about these things that matter to you, and then hearing you just explain kind of how you got into this. It sounds like the rodeo community is like really, really important to you because you were embraced and kind of taken in by the community.
Yeah, I was. I definitely was. You know, I like to say I was young enough to where I like to say I grew up in it, but I didn't grow up in it through. And I was raised by my grandparents. I didn't grow up in it through my grandparents. They wanted a better path for us. You know, they wanted. You know, they were the college, and you need to go do this, and that's great. Except I was the black sheep. I wanted to do the total opposite of what my brother and sister are doing. You know, and I've always been prone to danger. Yeah. So like Pop's coming along, which was really good family friends, who he really is, and him coming along and showing me the rodeo route because he kind of knew me. He knew I didn't care about school. He knew I didn't. You know, he wanted to make sure I'd done something right with my life. And like the rodeo community literally opened their arms and took me in at such a young age where from that point on, I don't remember my life without rodeo.
Exactly.
From that point on, I was young enough and blessed enough from that point on to go, because there's a lot of guys that get in their 20s and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're in, you're in. Yeah. But I was young enough at the time to where like people ask, and I said that's what I grew up in. You know, it's what I grew up in. It's what I grew up doing. From the moment he put a hat on my head and said, you know, go back here and start stripping these bucking horses. And I'm you know, this 13, 14-year-old boy and this bucking horses, and I'm climbing up on the lash. Like, I used to live for that. You know, I wasn't even fighting bulls doing nothing. I used to live for just putting on a button-up shirt and being in the rodeo community, and everyone, you know, the way that they took me in, such as like I'm a son to it. And, putting a hat on my head, you know, I used to just sit there and love being, like I still do to this day, just love being a cowboy, you know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So you got into the bullfighting, and I know you do freestyle and you do cowboy protection.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me a little bit about the differences in the two and what draws you to each of them.
Yeah, so like you hear a lot of things like, there's a lot of cowboys, protectors, and a lot of our mentors that'll say, oh, they're the same exact thing. You know, they're the same thing. They feed off each other. And if you sit down and you do the math on them and watch this move and watch that back, yes, they all feed off each other. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, they're the same but different. Yeah. To me personally, you got to have a strong mindset to do the drop, period. Yeah. But I have a different mindset in that freestyle game than I do in my protection game. Yeah. Because I don't know why I think that way, but in my freestyle game, it's about me. Yeah. And that bull. In my protection game, I'm the last person that I'm worried about in that whole entire arena.
That's a good point.
You know, I'm not worried about me in that arena when it comes to protection. Not only do I have two other bullfighters that I need to make sure I'm there for, I have cowboys, I have judges, I have gate pullers. Yep. You know, so I'm not worried about me. But in that protection or in that freestyle game, it's all about me. Yeah. That crowd is there to see you do something great. That crowd is there to see you show off. They spent their hard-earned money to watch you individually do something. And a lot of the moves are the same. Yeah. You know, and my mentor back at home, one of them, you know, Frank, he'll tell you all the time, like, your moves are the same. You're using the same moves and you are and all that. Yeah. But when it comes to mindsets and stuff, that's where I think they differ, you know. But the workouts and all the physical stuff you do to prep for them are the same. Like I said, everything about that is the same. But me personally, my mindset switch on both. Like, literally, my mindset switch on each day when it comes to what I'm doing that day. That's
really cool because in our previous episode, on episode 40, we had Tucker Lane on, and he kind of talked about that too. And then during the PBR World Finals, we had Harp on. Yep. And, you know, and all you guys come, and Bryce Rito was way, I hope you didn't listen to that because I was so green then. Getting better. I'll have to have Bryce on to do a makeup on that. Yeah. But no, it's one of those deals where you hit the nail on the head. It's like there's an individualness in the freestyle, and you're basically like you're fighting. It's one-on-one, you know, and then there's so many elements. One thing I'm interested in, so true statement here, I'd never shot bullfighting until Chase, who's actually here in attendance, Chase Blythe, he invited me to come out, and we shot a UBF event, and I actually was. It was one of the craziest things I've ever shot, just because it's so unique. And like, I can't remember if you won the event, but I know that like one of the coolest shots I got was like you literally jumping over a bull. Yeah, yeah. So there's like a style to it. When you're in a bullfight, talk a little bit about your style, how you utilize your athleticism, different things like that. Because
Yeah.
we saw it on full display last night, even in Durant, where you know, I was watching a ride back with Trey Holston, and I know you remember that. They can't remember the other bullfighter's name, but he took that shot for him, and then as soon as he took that shot and was out of the way, you swooped around, grabbed the bull's horn, right?
Yeah,
so it's
of
like,
course.
talk a little bit about your style and how some of the athleticism that you utilize in the freestyle and how it incorporates into what you're doing in the dirt with cowboys.
Like, muscle memory is first and foremost. I mean, you're dealing on both ends of freestyle and protection. You're dealing with an animal that they want to hurt you. You get in their way, and yeah, some bucking bulls, they're mediocre, you know, but my mindset is I'll make the bull bigger than it needs to be to start with. It's best to prep for the worst and then expect less. Like, that's just how it is, you know. So I get that. Go ahead and get that out of the way. When it's Thursday and we're heading to the rodeo, or I'm heading or driving or flying wherever I'm going, my mind is on them bulls, no matter what it is. It doesn't need to be nowhere else, but you're getting your job done, and that's freestyle and protection. Yep. But as far as muscle and athleticism goes, speed change, in particular, both styles of bullfighting, that's like top tip. You know, speed change is something. And just the way you position yourself in both of them, those are both the same thing. Angles, all of those footwork, all of that's the same, you know, versus in freestyle, like I said, I'm worried about me. So I'm just reading him, reading where he's going, paying attention to him. Yeah. Versus just like you said last night, you know, Richard shot that gap. He really good gap and all that. And then I didn't know if he was on the ground or whatnot, because I was watching the gap and I wasn't watching him, because I knew the bull rider was okay when he got in that gap. Yeah. And so what I did is I floated around to his side. If he's on the ground, it looks like I need to take a shot, or I need to pull that bull on around again and keep the rotation, keep the attention off of all that just happened. That was my job, because that wasn't my side. Would have been vice versa. If that was my side, I would have took the shot and been thrown and all that. Then Wayne would have rolled around and took the attention of the bull, you know? Yeah. So it's just like any other thing. Like I was saying, I've got to pay attention to all that. You know, you have to keep your eyes peeled out for all of it. And like, it's aside of that, going back into the freestyle world of things, you know, when you're sitting in there in front of that shotgun and you're about to call for this fighting bull, he's not, for one, not going to be coming out bucking at you and whatnot. He's coming out at a dart, like a Ferrari, going straight down there, you know, straight down the highway. He's coming at you fast, and that's how quick you have to think, what is your first move going to be? And there's multiple first moves, you know. Yeah. And as far as I use my athleticism to my advantage. He's coming at me so fast where I can't think, just jump. Like, I mean, like you know, like it worked for me. I don't know, 100 times over. But then there's times where, okay, I'm going to change this one up, and I'm going to step this way, and I'm going around him, you know. And that athleticism is a big tool, you know. But so is heart, you know. Like when it comes to both of the games, you know, you take them shots and it's just leading up to it. Some people handle things differently, but I finally got to where I can get a hold of my nerves, you know, and I can kind of block some things out, you know. But when you got a big heart and a lot of trying and whatnot, it's all going to work out in the end anyways. You know, as long as you keep on driving and keep on trying, it ain't gonna not happen, you know, because it's bullfighting. You're going to get hit. You're going to get some scratches. You're going to, you know, and that's part of being cowboy, though. It all goes back down to cowboy to me, you know. And I'm, quite frankly, I'm still learning. I learn something new every day about being a cowboy, because that's all I want to be, you know. So I'm not way above no one else or nothing like that. I'm taking in as much knowledge as I can every single day, every time I step in the arena, every time I talk on the phone with Frank, every time Cody Webster calls me. Like, I'm learning something new every single time. For sure, man, for sure. And though, you know, all that input and the advice and just kind of taking everything in, I mean, you have been successful. You've won a world title. Talk to me a little about winning your world title and what that meant to you and kind of what you remember from that experience. Yeah. So, like, it was at Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this bullfight's been going on for years, you know. It's been a very, very, very important bullfight, you know. So, you know, every guy that's won has been claimed a world champion bullfighter, and that in particular state and whatnot. It's not a sanctioned deal. It's its own deal and whatnot, and it honestly means a lot. I can tell you right now, it means a lot more to any cowboy to win that than it will be winning anything else as far as bullfighters go, you know? Yeah. So, you know, on that year that I won it, I mean, I was on a roll. I was at Webb's. We were working out, man. He was putting on bull schools. I was helping him, and we were, it was a lot of fun. I'm feeling good and I'm winning here and there, so I get down to Ardmore. And the thing is, that's another hometowner for me right there. It's also not very far from Medill. So, friends and family got to come watch,
That's cool.
And so that just gave me that much more of an edge, I feel like, you know. And then I go there and, I put on a bullfight. Like, and the thing is my mind wasn't set on winning. My mind was set on putting on good bullfights at that time. Just having fun. And that's the thing. I was having fun, and I was – at the end of them bullfights, I just risked it. I had to, because I wanted to do good. And then, that's what I'm saying. When I finished, I didn't even realize I won or nothing like that. Like, I just kind of was excited. I put on a good bullfight, and I looked directly at the family and all them. They're all clapping for me and cheering. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I done my job. Whether I won or not, I done something right, because they know they know when you're fighting the bull or when you're, running from them. They know the game. So
for sure.
When I seen Pops, especially, up there happy and excited, I knew I done something right. And then,
that's cool.
Of course, they marked me to win and whatnot. So it meant the world to me.
For sure.
Like that in particular. And to get a buckle that says world champion with your name on it and stuff like that means a whole lot to me, because a few short years prior to that, I never would have thought I would have been there. That's the truth. One day I went through a gap one day as a 13, 14-year-old boy, and the next thing I know, it's my living. And next thing you know, I'm in Ardmore. Because when I was younger, Pops would take me to Ardmore bullfights to watch when I was young.
Yeah.
So, sitting in them stands, I'd always tell him, like, that's going to be me one day. So seeing it all come through and make the big circle at a young age is great. And the thing is I'm just getting started. Like, man, I like to say that I'm still green personally. Yeah. Like, I'm getting somewhere. I have a really good career going for me and a really good things going, but that's the fun part about it. Like, that was all fun. The memories and all that was great, but I'm still on that up and climbing mountain. Like, that's my favorite part about it is the process that I'm going through right now to get to where I feel like I might be when it's all said and done,
Yeah. No, and we talked about community and what it means to be a cowboy, and you've mentioned Cody and Frank. Mm-hmm. Like, what does it mean to you personally to have people like that in your corner that, I know you talked about, you do stuff like you work with Cody Webster and all these things. Tell me a little bit about those dynamics with some of these legends of the sport that you get to kind of participate with and just receive information and just take it all in.
Yeah, What's that like? So, like, I'll start with Frank, like, Frank's more than just a mentor in the arena. Like, he is he's all around. I like to say he's an all-around cowboy in his own right mind. Like, in the arena, obviously this man was the man. Like, he was the man. There's no way around that. And if I'm sure the fans listening to this know that, but the thing is with Frank is whenever I was started coming around and got to get around Frank, he was wanting to teach me life as a cowboy versus bullfighter as a cowboy.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to teach us, and we're going to touch on bullfighting every second he gets. He's going to help us with something, and I'm very blessed for that. But there's some of us that come up about like Frank and Webb, like we didn't have it all coming up, so we didn't know how to be led.
Yeah.
We never had no as an answer.
Yeah.
We never had a curfew when we were younger. We didn't, and the fact that Frank has been through that and been there for us and had his trial and tribulations and all this, he's a little harder on me and us now than he would have been a couple years ago if something in that particular mind didn't happen to him.
For sure.
So the fact of, like, it can be nothing about bullfighting, and Frank's going to give you a lesson about it,
and you're still learning.
Yep, and that could be spiritual all the way down to how to handle something in the outside world as a man, a cowboy, And that's what I'm blessed for with Frank. I can call him at any problem I have and give it and lay it on his table, and he's going to line it up for me step by step. So that's what means a lot for me with Frank, and teaching me how to be the right man, a good family man when the time comes.
Absolutely.
And Webb, he's the cool thing is because he's always there. Like he's always there no matter what it is, and he's almost like an older brother, I'd like to say, for him. He gets on to me for little things, and we argue and go back and forth, and we're always joking, and ultimately I'm at the house with him every day, and he is true cowboy.
Yeah.
He's the same way. He's always wanted to be a cowboy when he grew up. That was first. So when we're at the house and we got to doctor cattle, we got to be horseback, we got to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he's always teaching me.
Yeah.
You might think you know this or think you know that, or that's just like rope and swinging a rope. I've always got on a horse and, growing up back where I grew up and, swung a rope, never caught, and all this. And all them older gentlemen would just kind of be like, oh, we got it. Webb, he's like running up right next to me. He's like, I want you to catch it.
You're going to learn.
I want you to do this.
Yeah.
I want you to do that. He's pointing the finger, and he's not pointing the finger as in a boss. He's pointing the finger as in you need to learn this.
Yeah.
And he takes everything that we do at the house as pride, because he always throws in there, one day whenever I'm not here, y'all need to know this. Like, y'all need to know how to handle this. So he doesn't sit there and do things for us, and he's also one of them guys that's outside of the arena. He's always mentoring us because he's been through some things himself that he's showing us the right path, and just some of the group of guys that he grew up with, in particular, fighting bulls and whatnot, and what happened in all that era. He's wanting us, younger generation coming up now, the next generation, he wants us to stay close and stay tight and
for sure,
be there for each other, getting to go to a lot of these big rodeos, getting to do that. That means a lot to him. So being able to call him up, or just call him like an older brother is great, because the thing is about both Frank and Webb is I feel as if I can stop fighting bulls right now and they're still going to be there for me, and nothing's going to change as far as our relationship goes. For sure. So
and that's got to be huge for your mentality.
Yeah, that's very big for me, because I didn't have a lot of close people in my corner. I never opened up like that to a lot of people. I was always tried to have to be that tough guy, just because I didn't have nothing. So I always played that tough guy card and got around them too. Like, it means a lot to me. Like, they're there's no words to describe for it. It's like, it's family now. We're a bond, and it's not only us three. It's about 6 of us, they're at the house. That it's like that, and we feed off each other every day. We're for sure working out, we're cowboying, or we might be building fence for 3 days, or we might not be doing nothing, but it's always something going on. Like, everything's always good at the house. It's always a competition, like everything's a competition and everything, but at the end of it, there's a story behind it. It's not always about winning, it's about learning, so
that's really cool.
That's kind of what I take from that, and that's in life as being a cowboy, in life in general.
Absolutely.
Like, just taking the knowledge.
For sure, for sure. And, you talked about you're young in your career. Obviously, you have this mentality and this mindset where you really just are a sponge, it sounds like. And you're able to take all these things that are happening to you and process them and put them together. In your young career, you've already won a world title, but what are your plans? What are your goals? What are some of the things you want to achieve out there in the future?
Man, right now, I'm on a good path, I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. I mean, and of course, I'll give the same answer as every other younger bullfighter coming up. Everybody wants to fight the NFR, and that's great. That's a great goal to have, and of course I do. But my deal right now, my goal is to keep moving forward. Because I feel like I speak to a lot of bullfighter buddies of mine and whatnot, and they have the same exact rodeos over and over and over and over again, and they're okay with that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that's like, okay, well, dang, D's went to a whole nother level, and then a whole nother level, and then you just keep going forward, Like, of course, I want to fight all these finals and work the NFR and all that, of course. If you're fighting bulls and you don't have them type of goals, then I don't know.
Then why are you doing it?
What are you doing it for, at that point? Of course I want to do that. That's obviously the main goal mindset. But my main goal right now is I want this to make me a great man. I want trying to be a cowboy and a bullfighter to make me a great man when it's all said and done. I want to be able to give the knowledge that I've been taught and still learning down to the generation below me, because especially in today's world, I just want to be near half as good as my grandpa was, and that's those cool. Are some very big shoes to fill. Yeah. And the fact that he's not here, but I have people like Webster and Frank make it feel like that. It's almost like he's talking to them and they're talking to me, it's crazy the way it is, but I want to be a great cowboy and a great man, I want to be a great family guy, and that's like my main goal just considering my upcoming, and the way that them guys are leading me and a few other guys down the path. Like, I feel like that I'm doing okay. Of course I fall short and have my mistakes and I mess up every now and again, but that's why we have each other, and they dang sure don't fail to get me back in line. I'll tell you that much. So
yeah. Well, no, I appreciate that, man. And we actually have a number of fan questions. Let's go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, let's dive in on some of these.
Before we get into some of these, I'm going to go on the limb and say, if Knox done got on there and asked a whole lot of questions, I apologize on his behalf. He's my traveling buddy, my best friend, so I can only imagine.
It's fine. I appreciate him jumping in because it's going to reveal some stuff. We do have a couple other ones, though.
Yeah.
All right. So I heard you love to travel.
I do.
So Sam asked, where's your favorite place to vacation?
Oh, vacation.
And then I've got a follow-up to that.
Yeah. Okay, so vacation. Honestly, I know I said I love to travel, and I do. It's great. But I grew up on Lake Texoma, man.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that.
That's your favorite vacation
Go down to Lake Texoma, guys.
All
Come
right.
home.
So my follow-up to that, though, would be, all right, so if that's the case, what's your favorite rodeo to go to?
Rodeo Sikeston, Missouri.
Very cool.
That rodeo is a blast.
That's cool.
Those people out there, that committee, them guys are really, really nice. It's been my favorite ever since I went there. And that's not just because I went and won the bullfights or nothing like that. And it really is a fun rodeo.
Yeah.
That's where I went from being just a Dekevis to, that's D.
Yeah.
Hey, he can fight bulls pretty good or all right. So I feel like that's where I really earned something there.
For sure, man. Belinda asks, what save are you most proud of, if you have one that you remember?
Man, I like to say they're all the same. I do think about that time to time. What could be your most save? The save that I'm most proud of are all of the ones that I go in belly first and I have two hands on the bull.
Yeah.
All of those are great saves because that's something that I had to work on myself. Yeah. And it takes a lot of confidence to go from shooting a gap with your back to shooting a gap with your front. So all of those are like really it.
Yeah. So we had somebody submit a question. I don't really have it's a weird handle, but so walk us through your favorite bullfight. But I guess one thing that I want to kind of toss in there is like some of these moves that you're talking about, like we've alluded to you jumping over bulls. Mm-hmm. I've also seen pictures of you almost like Supermaning over bulls.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about some of your favorite bullfights and some of those types of moves and what goes through your head when you're doing them.
Yeah, for sure, man. So like Sikeston in general, one of my favorite bullfights. I'm sitting there, and it's like the first night going, and I mean, I'm feeling it, and the crowd's in it, and the bulls are great. Like, everything's there, and I think I was like, the first night, I think I was like second to last to go, Yeah. And these guys are putting on phenomenal fights, and I'm like, heck yeah, like, get the ball rolling a little bit, and I go up, and I drew this sweet little, I want to say it was maybe a cat, I don't know what it was. And I didn't care at the time what it was. Yeah. I just know the crowd was involved and I was involved and everyone's there, and Cody Johnson is there flanking the bull. Like he's looking at me, and that bullfight in general, like, man, he come out and everything went my way.
Yeah.
Everything just went my way. And I didn't plan it in my head or nothing, man. I went out in the middle, I threw my arms up and I couldn't hear nothing because everyone was screaming, and I just called for my bull and I did not care what was going to happen, hook or good. Yep. And the thing is I just fought the bull like I knew how. I kept it simple. I had fun. I went around him. I threw fakes, and of course I front flipped him. And the crowd got into it. And then the thing is that's one of my favorite bullfights. And then here we go on to night two, and the same thing happened. The next thing I know, I won. So that means a lot to me. In my very first bullfight,
the one that always
Georgia,
stands out.
That's the one that everyone, that's Air Jordan,
Yeah.
And here I am, just this kid, and I've run, and I know no better, and I just front flip a bull. And then I realized that I still got like 50 seconds to go, so I fought him.
You're like, what else do I do?
Yeah, what's next? And I fought him, and that one stood out to me because, man, I received a lot of phone calls after that to people saying, "Oh, you weren't joking about that." No, I wasn't joking. That's what makes what makes it mean a lot to me. Like, it wasn't just a fluke to where I was going to try to go make a check and come home. Like, this is part of the career, and I want to do it. So that stood out a lot to me.
That's awesome. So Klein asks, how do you have trust in fighting with another bullfighter if you don't know them?
Well, first and foremost, I have to trust his process. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and flute and say that there's a lot of guys going that know the game through and throughout.
Yeah.
I don't even know the game through and throughout.
Yeah.
But I know when I get hired for something, I know my job.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say every guy has. And I'm not talking on anybody in particular. No, I'm just saying it happens. It happens in any job.
Yeah.
You know, and but I have to trust it.
Yeah.
I have to trust it to a T. And if he's not holding up to his standards, then that he has to sleep with that. He has to live with that. So I have to trust all of their process of being there for me, having my back, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, Klein, in particular, it's not about me.
Yeah.
Me, there's no I in team, first off, like I
Yeah.
said, but it's not about me, you know. When it comes to protecting, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about, as long as I need to trust him to get the cowboy.
Yeah.
It's not about me trusting him. I need to trust him to get the cowboy. I get hooked, I get back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been there before. And if I don't, somebody come help me up. We'll get out the arena and handle that later. But till then, we're not worried about me. So,
Yeah.
yes, I do trust him to get to that cowboy. And if he doesn't, like I said, he has to sleep with that, and he'd probably be getting a phone call from somebody. He have to deal with that, whomever it may be.
Yeah.
But when they're in the dirt with me, I look at them and say, we got one job to do. Don't worry about me, and let's do our job.
Yeah.
I'm going to be where I need to be. You be where you need to be. And, you know, it starts to roll from point on.
Yeah.
Going on and off.
Yeah, because typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but at these types of events, especially PRCAs, like they hire bullfighters that at least know like what their job is supposed to be when they're in the dirt. Correct? Because like I know with an amateur rodeo or even a backyard pen, it's a little more of a roll of the dice.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if a dude gets scared, chickens out, and his responsibility is you're on the back side of the bull, he's on the front side, and the cowboy's up underneath, like it's tough because you end up having to do two jobs.
It is, man, and I like to compare it to the military. It'd be the same difference, you know. Say we're over and we're in a bind with the bad guys, like, and something happens. Like my brother needs to have my back over there, such as I need to have his back, and it has to be that bond there. It just has to, because these are dangerous animals, man. To me, it's like taking a truck and getting hit by the truck. Like, it's a very dangerous animal. So yeah, you're right. Like
it's a car wreck every out.
Yeah, you
potentially.
know. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. Like, you have to trust your brother's play. Either way you look at it, and like, these pro rodeos, you know, and, almost anywhere, there's always a guy or these guys or whatever that mess around and get hired, and you know, everyone's scared about and whining about and stuff. But when I'm in the dirt with that guy, whoever it may be, I'm going to do my job. Yeah. Like I said, they can go sleep with what they may have done or whatnot. That's okay. That's not any way to make a career, for sure. But me personally, I'm going to do my job, you know. So
for sure,
the trust, yes, I have to trust them and go a long ways with that. But at the same time, like I said, it ain't about me. It's about that cowboy. So I think that question should be pointed at, how can that cowboy trust either one of us?
That's a good point.
How do we prove that to them, you know? And that's our whole goal, is to keep proving it and keep proving it and keep proving it. It never stops. It don't matter if you're Frank or Cody Webster. You have to keep proving it. And that's where we are. We're just, us younger generation, we're trying to play catch up. That's what we're doing. So
yeah, absolutely. So I saved all of Knox's questions
for the end.
So we'll toss some of these out. All right. So Knox wants to know who's your best friend, and I'm sure he's asking because he wants to be named that friend.
Okay. Well, tell Knox Dunn I said Remington Schaefer is my best friend.
All right.
And if you know Remy, he is both me and Knox's best friend.
There you go.
And Knox was expecting me to say Knox. So
and then not only that, you have other people here with you too.
Oh yeah, I do.
You got. Knox, you didn't even get brought to the podcast.
Yeah, you're not even here.
So, all right. Another question from Knox. Your nickname, is it Air Jordan? Is that? I mean, because I have. It's funny because I have heard people say that about you, but then I've heard you called D as well. So.
Yep. Air Jordan is the nickname. Dekev, Air Jordan. There's all types of nicknames. It depends on the day.
What?
Decravion. There's all types of nicknames. It depends on the day and what we're doing.
We got a little audience here chiming in on this.
Yep.
All right. Last question from Knox. He said, ask him about him and Webster's dirt bike riding.
So we got another buddy, and we were there for a little bit few others, but we were talking about getting some dirt bikes at the house. Nothing major, just some little like 50s, you know, and riding around. Well, we literally told that to one guy, and this guy turned that into, oh, Dekev and Cody Webster are driving dirt bikes in the middle of Tennessee.
Oh my
like
gosh.
Out of the blue, which never happened. It never was said. So it was like an ongoing long joke for that week. Oh, where you going, D, to ride dirt bikes in Tennessee, you and Webb? Like it turned into one of them deals where it just kept getting over and over. So that's why he said
funny.
that, is because it turned into one of them deals like where it was like, oh yeah, D's riding dirt bikes in Tennessee with Webster when I'm sitting in Oklahoma on a horse, you know, like things like that, you know, just
cool.
picking at each other.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, dude, I really enjoyed this. If y'all wouldn't mind, if y'all enjoyed this as well, we'd love to hear from y'all and get your feedback. Please make sure and comment or give a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast, because that definitely helps us out on the podcast. Air Jordan, Dekevis. Anything else you would like to say to your fans and fans of the sport of rodeo and bullfighting in general?
Man, just keep watching, keep tuning in. You know, in today's world, the rodeo is trending and it ain't going nowhere. You know, I like to say that myself. I'm glad to be in this generation because rodeo is a career now.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was going through school, people would tell you, you ain't going to be able to. No, now it's like they got books at the library, saddle bronc riding, you know, and all this.
How to. When you get a book that's like how to for dummies, you're making it.
Yep, you know, they're starting to do something. The thing is the cowboys are coming from everywhere, and I'm glad. You know, the woodworks, it don't matter if they just started being a cowboy. It's awesome to see that it's grown, you know, and as always, mean cattle and high voltage bullfighting, bub.
Man, thank you again so much for being here. And again, thank y'all for listening, and so importantly to the Lane Frost brand for sponsoring these podcasts for 2023. Without that support, we couldn't do what we love doing, and y'all wouldn't be getting all this great content. Make sure and go to lanefrost.com for merch and all things Lane Frost, along with all of their social medias across all major platforms. Also, a big thank you to Choctaw Casino and Resorts for their hospitality.
Yeah.
Such an incredible place, just a short drive from the Metroplex. Food, fun, and games galore provide an awesome getaway. Choctaw, stay a while, play a while. Dekevis, what are your social handles and where can people follow along with what all you have going on?
All major ones. You know, I have TikTok at Dekevis Jordan 24 and Instagram at Dekevis Jordan 24. _, something like that. Type in my name, Dekevis Jordan, and
you'll find it.
up. And you know, I'm a professional page on Facebook, which is Dekevis Jordan. You know, I try to keep it pretty simple.
Heck yeah.
Which is my first name is pretty hard to spell for some people and or say. So one of them will pop up. Yeah, that.
Dekevis 21 _.
Yep, Dekevis 21 _.
And also, if y'all wouldn't mind, follow along with us on social media at Tough Draw and at Tough Draw Talks for more episodes of our podcast as we continue to bring y'all closer to the rodeo community.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, everyone.